Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Skier, aka Stations Guy. Welcome to another edition of Recommended Stations here on YouTube. And my exciting guest on today's show is the Static Master, the Static Man, Static Meister. If you're into vinyl records and know a little about the history, then you may have heard of this before. It was sold by a company called Nuclear Products Company in Costa Mesa, California, starting in 1950. And the unique thing about this is it uses polonium 210, radioactive material, to help keep your records clean. And it's still available today after all these decades. You can actually still buy it today. There's a company named Amstat Industries out of Illinois, and they sell them. Just to give you a cost history comparison, back in 1950, this 3-inch brush sold for about $12. And there still is, a smaller 1-inch version that went for about $5. Now today, according to Amstat's website, the 3-inch version will cost you almost $300, while the 1-inch is a bargain at just under $200. You can also get the replacement cartridges for these, and the 3-inch cartridge goes for $197. Now, you can find these on eBay and get real good bargains on them. So if you get one really cheap, and then you turn around and buy a new replacement cartridge, then you'll probably end up spending less than if you bought the whole thing new, and you're basically getting something new. I did find these also on Amazon, believe it or not, and that was $220. The whole history. There are other brushes and anti-static devices to clean records. I think probably the most legendary, if you will, was by Diskwasher. They put out this kit that came in a solid walnut base, which had a zero-stat electrostatic gun. It had a nice soft brush, had some cleaning fluid. It had this little flip-out thing that had a mirror on one side and a soft pad on the other to clean your stylus on your turntable. I actually found one of these kits in a Salvation Army in Massachusetts many years ago. Fantastic condition. Looked like it had hardly ever been used, or maybe had never been used. Didn't have the original box, but it had the walnut base and all the items and the plastic cover that went over it. And I forget what I paid for it, but it was pretty cheap. It was under $20, I'm pretty sure. And I ended up turning around and selling it on eBay for a nice little profit. But you can still find them on eBay, but not for $20. But this was unique because it used the polonium 210. And it did quite well in its heyday, and then over time, sales really declined. People got concerned about the whole polonium thing. But like I say, you can still buy them today. The smaller 1-inch brush, that was used mainly for negatives, slides, small lenses and mirrors, more sort of industrial or lab type environment, but those are still available. And basically, it has what they call an alpha ionizing strip. So it's the polonium 210 that's in ceramic beads, which are then adhered to a metal foil. So as long as you're not, like eating them or touching them or trying to sniff them up your nose, you should be fine. I'm not aware of any cases where a person using this has developed a health problem, died, got really sick, anything like that. You really have to go to some effort to try and get at this thing and touch it or consume it or something, and most people know not to do that. It only has about a 14-month lifespan. So this one, I'm going to open this up shortly. I've already opened it up, but this is way expired. It's pretty useless now as far as the polonium goes. So if you do end up getting one, basically every 14 months you have to buy a new cartridge, and at $200, that can get pretty expensive. So I imagine most of you aren't going to be running out and buying one of these anytime soon. The original ones in the 50s used a wood handle and camel hair for the brushes, and it kind of looked like a paintbrush. It looked, pretty uneventful. And then eventually it went to the plastic, and the brushes actually retract, so you can pull them in and push them out when you're ready to use it. And basically, this polonium 210 neutralizes the static electricity, which then allows you to use the brush to brush out debris or dust or whatever that's on your record. And you should be doing this while the record is spinning, right? And like I say, I'm not going to use this today on a record because the polonium long expired, so there's just no point in it. Let's open this up, okay? This, you can see here, it's got this little punch out to hang on a peg, so you could probably walk into whatever, a Radio Shack or whatever, and see this on a peg behind the counter and grab it and buy it. You'll notice though, this one here, it shows the record on the bottom, but on the top it shows a CD. So this came out probably around the time that CDs came out in the roughly mid 80s. It says here, compact discs are not immune to dust and static, which can degrade the quality of the sound of your CDs. A simple brushing with Static Master will remove the static charge and dust. Let's see if it says anything else on here. Audio. For phonograph records, CDs, as well as turntable dust covers and meter faces. Prolongs record life and enhances listening enjoyment by getting rid of abrasive dust and static pops. Then it also says you can use it for negatives, transparencies, slide mounts, film holders, enlargers, printers, filters, and lenses. A must in any darkroom. You'll probably glow after you use this in the darkroom, right? And it talks about the polonium, but interestingly, it doesn't say anything on here about, don't worry, it's not a health hazard or anything like that. It doesn't even address it. It just talks about it. So let's just open this up. The packaging, by the way, I know I keep saying I'm going to open it up and then I get to something else. The packaging has changed over the years. It's, some of them originally came in a clear plastic case, and then eventually it went to cardboard. They had one, I think, during the 70s that was in like a sort of simulated wood grain box, but it was cardboard. It wasn't really wood, but, matches the decor of the 70s. So let's just open this guy up now and see what we have here. And speaking of wood grain, fake wood grain, there you go. I don't know why, what is the point? This does not look like real wood, doesn't feel like real wood. So what is the point? It's supposed to make it look expensive or something. And then we got a little booklet in here. We've got even a mail-in registration card. Look at that. NRD Inc. in New York. Little registration card. This here is, what is this here? How to replace the cartridge. So I guess if you're going to, at some point, replace the cartridge, that gives you instructions. Here's the little booklet here. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you. It looks like it's pretty extensive, as you can see, the accordion booklet. Okay, so here's something about the safety. Static Master can be safely handled because the alpha particles will not pass through the epidermis, the outer layer of dead skin. In fact, alpha particles are completely stopped by a thin sheet of paper. The polonium element in Static Master gradually loses its power to neutralize static electricity. So I don't know if that calms your fears at all. Here's the 1-inch and the 3-inch brush. So that's that. I'm going to open up this simulated walnut box, and here's the Static Master in all of its glory. Take that out, and you can see there's this little handle here. This deploys the brush, I think. Yep. So there's the brush. And each cartridge, Static Master, each cartridge has a expiration date on it. So this one says March of, looks like 86, I believe. So this is way, way, way out of whack. And then you can kind of see the two metal strips on either side that contain the polonium. And so you'd have your record rotating on the turntable, and you'd put this down this way so that the polonium would do its thing first, and then the brushes would sweep up the debris and dust and what have you. And then you can retract it so it's nice and compact. So, what does it say on here? Radiation from polonium is dangerous. If the solid material is ingested or inhaled, do not touch strip under grid. Keep away from children. See instructions. Okay, so, and I've had this for quite a while, for a few years, and I haven't gotten sick or had any problems other than I glow in the dark and I'm not able to have children. And that's probably a good thing. But one thing I did was I bought this. It's sort of like a home Geiger counter. Every home should have a Geiger counter, You never know when it might come in handy. So I bought one off of Amazon, and I tested this because I was curious to see what the reading would be. But right now, I want to roll that video for you of me using the meter to test the radioactivity level of that static master. So roll it. Well, alrighty then. So here we have my handy dandy home Geiger counter by a company called GQ, no relation to the magazine. The GMC 300. And there's the static master. That's the strip that we're concerned with that has the polonium-210. And this reads from the back, actually. So we're going to prop it right up against the front of the static master. Actually, it would be good if I fired up this puppy, turned it on. That would be helpful, huh? And we'll put that right on there. As you can see, it reads 0 right now, 0 CPM. CPM, by the way, stands for counts per minute. And one thing, I got this on Amazon. A lot of the Amazon reviews said this device is very accurate, but it's also very slow. So it's going to take a couple of minutes until it settles down and gives us a more reliable reading. Now, the web is just all over the place with what a safe CPM range is, but there was a little card included with this that said between 5 and 50 CPM is safe. So that's what we're looking for. I don't have a brand new static masters to compare it against. I don't know what the maximum CPM is of a brand new one. So, but this guy's pretty old. So since the shelf life is about 14 months, I'm expecting the CPM reading to be very low indeed. And so we're waiting and we're waiting. So I've done some editing to save you a little bit of time. As you can see, it's now jumped up into the double figures, 10, 11, and but that's still way below, the safe limit. If it were 1,000 or 2,000 CPM, you'd see my hair falling out. What little I have left, I'd be vomiting all over the place. Wouldn't be a good thing. But this looks like it's maxing out at around 11, maybe 12. So it's okay. It's not going to be good for cleaning records, but it's not going to cause anybody any harm. But that's today's show. I hope you found it interesting. It's certainly a very interesting device, and it just amazes me that it originally came out in 1950 and you can still buy it today. I just can't believe that this thing still exists. Please leave some positive comments, share, subscribe, because this is the type of thing you're going to find on my shows. Thank you very much for watching. Please be kind to each other, and we will see you next time right here. Stations